Hello and welcome to this vlog about Elon Musk being the best CEO. I mean, he came from nothing, from South Africa. He went to the US, well, first to Canada and then to America, built multiple billion-dollar companies like PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Company, or Neuralink. He's freaking fast and he knows a thing or two about engineering. He wants us to make our planet sustainable, but as a plan B, he still can fly us all to Mars. This guy is definitely the best CEO. And whoa, wait, don't forget his dance move. They're brilliant. With this said, let's go and roll and let's look into Elon Musk. Okay, so let's talk about Elon Musk as a person and a business person first. So if we are looking into managements of companies, we need to look into their experience. And Elon Musk has a lot of experience and he is actually really experienced. So especially the software side of things is really his passion and his knowledge, because he built first 2Zip. This is one of his first companies. He had other things that he sold prior to it, like a video game and so on, but 2Zip was the first company that he sold for a really big pile of cash. Then he moved to create X.com that eventually met to be PayPal.com, which was sold for $billions to eBay, and then he had some kind of little bit of cash running around, and of course he used this cash not to, retire forever, but change the world. This was the beginning and the birth of 3 main companies for sustainability and beyond Earth living. Now this was Tesla, obviously, this was SpaceX, and he also funded Solar City, which eventually merged with Tesla. Now if you're looking to these 3 companies, these are very, very, very hard problems to solve for a person, for a team, and he actually is pretty good in this. Now if you're looking into this companies that he built, also he created the first online money transfer company with PayPal.com and sold it successfully, and PayPal is today a huge company based on the success of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman and other big good CEOs. But he also then moved forward and built these other companies. Meanwhile, he's also invested and funded and created these other companies like Neuralink, the Boring Company, or even OpenAI, and he is also the mastermind behind Hyperloop. You maybe have seen that Virgin is going after this. This technology is actually something that came out of Elon Musk's mind. So you can see he's quite experienced to building companies, and this is influenced into all his companies. He actually is also known for that he is exchanging information between companies, so SpaceX can benefit from something of Tesla and other way around. Tesla can sometimes benefit from things that SpaceX engineers, and that's why it's so beautiful to have this cross-functioning about these companies. And he is just a great CEO of very much experience, and this is number 1 of 3 that we will dive in today. If you like this video and my other videos, then I would appreciate if you leave a like, and also the subscribe button is right there, and ring the bell to be notified about my daily vlogs about different companies that I invest or you invest, and breaking news on the stock market. Now, the second very important part about Elon Musk is his way of thinking, and he is transferring this into the DNA of each company that he is working with, because his principle is actually the first principle thinking, which means that, for example, there was the problem that batteries for electric cars were very expensive. Now this was the reason why many companies didn't went into the market and slowly worked on it and so on. And this is a very difficult endeavor to use the first principle thinking, because then you go into the elementary things of a battery or of other products and saying, hey, why is this product how it is, or why it's so expensive? What are the expensive parts? So for example, let's say the most expensive parts about the battery is that you have to produce it in very much volume to have the R&D costs, for example, simplified and put on many batteries that come out of this production. So obviously volume is number one key to make the battery more cheaper or more affordable over time. And other things like chemistry, can we change the chemistry? Why are we using this chemistry? Why are we building batteries? How we build them? And more of this thinking goes into this products of the Elon Musk and these companies. For example, the very first big touch screen in the Model S was actually earlier on the market than the original iPad. So you can see that they thought, hey, it would be super cool when there would be a huge touch display in the Model S, and they said, hey, why it's not there? It's not available on the market, so what do we need for that? So we need a touch panel, we need a sensoric, and so on. So they built things together from this elementary things that was available on the market and engineered something. If you're reading his book, then there's a lot of thinking, first principle thinking about that. For example, there was a SpaceX example where a guy came to him and said, hey, we need this part for a rocket, but it costs $34,000. Now he said, well, you go back and you try to re-engineer it and you have $1,000. And this guy was so obsessed to make a solution work that he took a couple of months and brought a product, the same functions, but differently arranged and differently engineered, that he really made it happen for $1,500. So a little bit more than Elon Musk demanded. But you see, if you are thinking that something is possible and you break it down to the elementary things, then you can make things really different. Another very last major point or element of Elon Musk being a very good CEO is his way of intelligence. Now, to be set aside, he is like a genius, because, you know, even his mom said when he was small, he was enjoying problems, numbers, you know, things to build and this kind of things as a small boy. When he was asked or a question was in the classroom asked from the teacher, then they said, hey, how much do you think the moon is far away from the earth? And, you know, the kids obviously didn't know what to answer, just said, you know, very far away. And then came Elon Musk, who said, you know, it was this and this thousand of kilometers. Now, another example is that, you know, the team of Tesla, they worked on the prototype of the Model S and they had a meeting, and Elon Musk came to see the car, and he actually talked about 20 or 30 things that they should change. Then a couple of weeks later, they met again. And what happened is that Elon Musk actually knew all the 20 things without writing them down by heart from his mind that they had to change. So he's very interesting person. I think it's also, you know, combined with the first elementary thinking, it's also something that is influent into the DNA of the companies like Tesla. For example, when there is a problem, he believes that bureaucracy is wrong in a company. So even the door security guy, if he sees something wrong with the company, he should be allowed to speak with the CEO, because in the end of the day, everybody should think to benefit the company. And you know, this mixed with his intelligence, with his drive, with his thinking of solving problems is really, really strong. And obviously, if you have such a CEO that is so intelligent, it's so interesting to work with him because especially in the engineering part, if you can look up to someone that really knows a thing or two about software, he knows how to write code, so he can help to solve problems in all these companies. So I believe that this is one of the most important parts of Elon Musk being a very, or even the best CEO. And I also love that co-founders or founders are still on board from the companies, and therefore, you know, let's see where he can bring them all. But definitely for myself, it's one of the best CEOs I have ever seen on a public company or also a private company. And therefore, you know, I'm putting money behind this. I'm putting, as you know, a Tesla investment into that. And also, if there is other opportunities, I will definitely look into it if Elon Musk is behind that. And therefore, let's see what will happen in the next couple of months, because those months are super interesting. I still believe all companies of Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is still in the very beginning of his career, and therefore there's so much to come. I think there's people like this don't come around that often, and therefore let's enjoy.